Hey,
Jenna,
what's
hi.
up? Hey,
Hi.
yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. And I think there's an echo, so
Okay.
I'm going to take off my earphones and then
Hmm.
just. Now is it echoing?
No, now it's not echoing.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. Okay, so everybody,
Yeah.
hello. Thank you for joining us. This is Jenam with us, Jenam J, who is a philosopher, he's a writer, he's an astrologer. So we're going to talk about astrology today, something that I'm intrigued about.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Jainam, I don't know, when I was growing up, I heard
Mm-hmm.
that astrology is not that serious of a thing, and people did not know that it's a science.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's a
Yeah.
very common perception among people.
Yes.
Even
Yes.
myself, till my early 20s, I never believed in astrology. Like I believed in it 50-50.
Hmm.
So I never believed it in completely. And it
Hmm.
was very later in life where after 20, when I was 22 years old. Uh,
Hmm.
So I started because my father passed away when I was 21. So then I wanted to research about
Right.
astrologically that what was the reason why all this and all. So I started and then I realized that oh, it's actually true. And then I
Hmm.
researched my like initially you start with your own family, your own self, and your friend
Hmm.
circle and relatives charts, and then you check and you say okay, so many things are matching and all. Then you go
Hmm.
ahead. So yeah, and I researched a lot of charts and all. So then I realized, okay, astrology is 100% correct. Yeah, the astrologer can be wrong to interpret it, but the science of astrology, the Jyotish Shastra, is correct.
Hmm.
So yeah.
So, how has your journey been, Jainam? I'm intrigued. How has it been? Have you faced ups and downs, or do people take it seriously? I know, like
So
growing
you
older,
meet
I
all
got to
types
know that
of
it's
people.
science, but a lot of people
Yeah.
still do believe that it's, and they criticize astrologers. So, what's about that?
Yeah. So there are all types of people, like who have different opinions for astrology. So there are some people who believe in it. So there are some people who superstitiously believe in it, which is also wrong. Who would do anything. Like there are many people who come to me. They ask for consultation and all, and they are like, give us some remedy. Like कुछ तो पूजा पाठ बोल दो कि ये कर
Huh.
देंगे तो कुछ अच्छा हो जाएगा. And
Hmm.
I'm like, no. So that's the thing. So there are superstitious people. There are some people who look at their chart every day. Like when they wake up, the first thing is they look at their chart. So that's a kind of insecurity and fearful nature. So it is also not good. And
Hmm.
there are some people who are like casual, 50-50. Oh, it might
Hmm.
work, it might not work. So all kinds of people are there who believe in it or not.
Hmm. Okay. And how far do the predictions come true? I'm interested in this
Sorry.
part most. How far do the predictions come true? Or do you say something like terms and conditions apply? It may change.
So
I
yeah,
have predicted
predictions come
this, but
true.
it may change. Or do you say 100% it's going to be?
So So there are certain patterns which I find, and those patterns are like every time it comes true only.
Okay.
So, but yeah, there are some very intrinsic things like someone might ask that, oh, sure, when will I get a promotion? Give me an exact date. Or when will I get married? Give me exact date. So I don't go into that. I will say that, okay, this might be the right time, this might be the right year, something
Hmm.
like that. But I don't go for exact dates and exact predictions,
Hmm.
like very particular, because
Hmm.
calculations can be wrong, the timing of birth and all can be wrong. All these things
Hmm.
are there. So, yeah. So the calculations can differ. So
Hmm.
that's a possibility. So that's why there are chances that, let's say, if there is some 2 or 3 minutes ka difference, then a person who might like
कितने का difference? किसका
like
difference?
let's say in
हाँ.
some calculations, well, there are very complicated calculations. There are possibilities that in 30 seconds the chart might get changed. and there are possibilities that in 30 minutes also chart doesn't get changed. So there are different calculations. So things might happen that for someone, even in 30 seconds ka difference, the whole year is changing. The prediction entirely changes. And for some people, so it's very difficult. So yeah, doing this day-to-day predictions is not really. I just give an overall, like I try to give just an overall answer about life. That is how generally your life is going to be. So yeah, that's it. So yeah.
So have you seen, Jainam, have you seen people who have had experienced depression, anxiety, or
So
things
yeah,
like
so
that? And then
whenever I
what
start,
like, told them that you have a brighter future? Has
so
that
whenever
happened?
I start a reading of chart, the first thing I notice, and being into philosophy and spirituality, for me it is very important to notice the moon sign, because in especially in Vedic astrology, moon is very important. So wherever the moon is situated, how it is situated, all this matters a lot, because there are people who might have a very powerful horoscope. Like they might be super rich, great family, great friend circle, everything is great, but their moon is weak. So even if they are like 100 crore ka malik, they would call and they would be always dissatisfied, unsatisfied. So that's the thing. So moon ka condition is very important to see, because that's your
Okay.
mind. So like depression, anxiety, fearful nature, validation ka issues, all these things are can be seen via moon. And then second, we look at the sun, which is your ego. So ego and
Sun is
heart
the
also.
ego.
So moon and sun. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it is very important to have a powerful moon, because if your moon is weak, any success or anything that you get from outside, you will never be happy and you will never be able to sustain it. Especially the if 99 good things happen in your life and one bad thing happens in your life, that one bad thing might affect you a lot,
A lot.
especially if your mind is weak.
Right.
So
Right.
major importance is about mind. Like mind is very important. Moon is very important. And that's why in
Right.
India, almost all people, like many of the states, name their children from their Rashi, from their moon sign.
Hmm.
While in Western astrology, people consider sun sign as more important because it's your heart and
Hmm.
personality and
Hmm.
ego. But in
Hmm.
India, it's moon sign is considered more important. So that's a
Hmm.
big difference.
Someone's asked a question, Vivek MN has said, what could be the evidentiary value of astrology in philosophy, maybe in Jainism?
So yeah, in Jainism, like astrology, obviously it's there. There is mention of astrology in scriptures and all, but the very purpose of our human being is to get liberated, to realize ourselves, destroy our karmas, and get liberated. So to get into all this astrology and all this stuff is just not required, because that's not our purpose of life.
Hmm.
So, and also, whatever happens to us is because of our karma. So, if something bad is happening to me, it's because of my some past karma somewhere, some around. So, it's better to just improve your present karma and focus more on spiritual goals rather than focusing on improving your material life, because at the end it will also lead to suffering only. Because whenever you have some good karma, like punya hota hai, so from punya you get good results in life, like good things in life, money and fame and all these things are happening via punya. अब वो पुण्य के थ्रू जब मैं ये सब चीजें भोगता हूँ, like when I enjoy all these pleasures of life, then I again get bad karma because I'm enjoying the pleasures of life. Like money should be donated, not enjoyed. So that's the thing. So yeah, that's the reason that in deep when we go deeper in philosophy, astrology and all these things don't matter much, because that's not our ultimate goal of life,
Hmm.
to have material pleasure and also yeah. So astrology can be used as a prediction कि overall life में क्या होगा, वो idea आ जाएगा. कोई कुछ किधर कुछ इशू हो रहा है तो उसका आंसर मिल जाएगा वो कि दिस इज द प्लेसमेंट एंड ऑल. बट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इट्स ऑल कर्मा एंड योर बॉन्डेज and attachment towards it. So yeah.
Yeah. Does anybody have some questions for Jainam? Jainam, if someone has to do their own birth chart reading, what are some tips you could give superficially?
Oh, if someone doesn't have a knowledge, they should not get into it, because there are many like
Okay.
computer generated reports and all are not genuine because they are computer generated. Like a
हाँ,
person has to look at the chart, look at the circumstances of life and
हाँ,
predict. So one should never, unless they have knowledge about astrology, of course, then. But if they don't have any knowledge, they should like not get much into it. Of course, to understand astrology is good, but to have a guidance is very important. Without guidance, it's very risky, and it's say like to all the topics. Like having a guide is very important. Having a teacher or some or the other way to understand astrology, and then try to read birth chart and all.
Yeah, because there are these sites that just pop up, right, on the internet.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
say
And it's
read
all
your
like all
chart,
these things become
bring your
business now eventually. So if we talk of spirituality, if we talk of astrology and all, so all these things become business eventually because there are people who are so fearful, they are going to go. So it's not like कि astrology में सिर्फ जो uneducated या गाँव के लोग हैं वो जाते हैं. No, there are rich people, engineers and doctors and all who visit astrologers, and they want their life to be happy, and they try to wear stones and do some random sacrifices and pujas and all, and think that their life will become good. So yeah, so all this becomes business ना. और everyday का एक addiction हो जाता है खुद का वो देखने
हाँ,
का chart.
हाँ,
So
correct.
and this is how social media and all works. It will notify you every day morning your chart, and then you will spend another 15, 20 minutes, half an hour of your life every day reading that chart. So yeah, it can become very addictive and like superstitious, which is not good.
And maybe we would not work as hard if we would just say that, anyways, my luck is good. Why should I work so hard?
Yeah,
Maybe.
and all, ulta can also happen. Ki my luck is so bad, and the person might get into depression and loneliness and all.
Correct. Or
So yeah, both the
substance
things can
abuse.
happen.
Vivek has asked if astrology can predict future, even liberalization can be predicted. Can it?
What can be predicted?
Liberalization. He's saying if astrology can
Liberation,
predict
I guess.
future, even liberalization can be predicted. Can it?
I guess liberation he's talking about. So you can predict that a person will go into a spiritual path. Like, let's say, for example, I have studied many of the monks' kundlis, and I've seen a similar pattern, like philosophers and monks like Swami Vivekanand hai, Sri Aurobindo hai, all these people in Hinduism and especially in Jainism, because Jainism mein monks are way more, and the main focus of life is to become a monk, even in Buddhism. So मैंने काफी लोगों के चार्ट देखे हैं और I've seen many similar patterns. So वही पैटर्न अगर मुझे किसी दूसरे के उसमें दिखता है तो I can say कि okay, इसका spiritual path है. So that's how one can predict that he will follow spiritual path. So that can be predicted.
Okay. Gurpreet Singh has said, yes, there used to be a software called Kundli on Windows, which I saw many people use without having the proper knowledge. Exactly.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and also this is very intriguing, na? This science is एक तो hidden science है, and nowadays all this it's a very conspiracy theory वाला science, this astrology.
Yes. And it's
And कभी भी
underestimated.
लोग कभी भी लोग है ना ऐसी सब चीजों से ज्यादा अट्रैक्ट हो जाते हैं. People get attracted towards things that are very hidden and very mysterious, James Bond and Sherlock types. So that's the reason I think. But I mean, it's risky actually to read all these things without knowing anything. It's kind of risky. So yeah.
I know you to be a very logical person, Jenna. So when you say that you're a philosopher, you're an astrologer, so then I have felt compelled to think about astrology. That yes, it's science. It's a proper study. People do courses on it.
Yeah.
But while growing up, I would hear so many people. This was not my own thought, but a lot of influential people in my life would say, "Arey, astrologer kya hai?" And then they would talk about people in the neighborhood जो astrologers थे, कि
Yeah.
पता नहीं क्या कर रहे हैं, those sort of things. But I know you to be such a logical and practical person. So that made me feel that, okay, there is something more to this. And I've not done my own, I'm wrong to not do my own research and then come up with an opinion. But
Conclusions.
just by
Yeah.
seeing your personality, I feel that it is legit.
Yeah, and even I used to not believe in astrology, and even I used to not follow spirituality as much. So I did a lot of research. Like day and night, I was just doing all this research. I was studying different religions and philosophies and all. Then I came to a conclusion. So yeah, so the research and all is there now. So that means somewhere or the other, a person who has done a lot of research about it and then he has decided to follow it, then there might be something good now instead of
Yeah,
blindly just following it.
exactly.
So yeah, and right now though I would even being an astrologer I would say कि astrology में ज़्यादा पढ़ने की भी जरूरत नहीं है because okay एक कभी prediction ले लिया life के बारे में ठीक है but it is very addictive. People can get very addicted to it and it's not good because if they find a wrong astrologer he might take advantage monetarily. So that's
Okay.
also not good. So yeah, ultimate focus of spirituality ही होना चाहिए. Astrology and all these things are just normal stuff. So yeah.
And if someone's going to consult an astrologer, अगर किसी के पास जा रहे हैं astrologer के पास, तो फिर
हम्म
वो कैसे बता सकते हैं कि this person is a real astrologer or this person is just a plan?
सो उनकी बातों से ही पता चल सकता है ना. लेट्स से इफ वन एस्ट्रोलॉजर सेज कि आपका मैरिज 35 में होने वाला है, सो यू बी लाइक ओके 35 में होने वाला है. उसके बाद रीजन दे दिया कि आपका सन बैठा है 7th हाउस में, शनि की दृष्टि है, मंगल देख रहा है और ये 3-4 खराब ग्रह राहु और शुक्र का कॉम्बिनेशन है, तो यू कैन से ओके बहुत सारी खराब चीज है तो 35 या शायद मैरिज ना भी हो. बट देन व्हेन द पर्सन द क्लाइंट आस्क कि इसका कोई रेमेडी है एंड देन व्हेन ही गिव्स द रेमेडी कि ठीक है आप मुझे 5,000 दे दो, ये पूजा करवा लो, आपकी शादी हो जाएगी, देन यू वुड से ओ दैट्स वेरी फिशी. मतलब मेरी शादी नहीं हो रही बिकॉज कुछ तो मैंने कर्म किया होगा, लाइक कि इस जन्म में मेरी शादी नहीं हो रही है. और उसका जवाब ये है कि मैं 5 या 10,000 रुपए दे दूँ, आप कोई पूजा कर लोगे और उससे शादी हो जाएगी. सो डजंट साउंड लॉजिकल ना. सो दैट्स द थिंग. इट्स ऑल्सो विद मनी बिकॉज ये लोग कहते हैं कि ये पूजा पाठ करवा लो और आप बहुत करोड़पति हो जाएगा. अगर ये बात सच है तो why are the astrologers not the richest people in the world? Like they are themselves only struggling now to get clients and also yeah.
Correct.
So that's the thing.
Vivek is saying thank you. Astrology is predicted from the birth date. Nowadays, the C-section have become very common, and I have heard that the date and time of birth is planned, and the operation is done that time. Okay, so
So
interesting.
yeah, so the thing is that इसमें ना like how the karma theory works, when something is going to happen to me, वो जो जैसे मेरा अगर कुछ हार्म होने वाला है तो when someone is harming me तो वो उसका कर्मा है, ये मेरा कर्मा है, ये इंडिविजुअल कर्मा है. पर when someone harms me, it's a नैमित्तिक संबंध, मतलब वो एक कॉज एंड इफेक्ट का रिलेशन है एक दूसरे के साथ. सो वो उसका कर्मा चल रहा है, मेरा कर्मा चल रहा है, लेकिन हम लोग का एक कॉज एंड इफेक्ट बनता है. सो दैट इज समथिंग लाइक दैट ओनली कि उसका बर्थ उसी टाइम पे होने वाला था. अभी वो सी सेक्शन से हुआ, नेचुरली हुआ, जो भी है, बट वैसा ही होने वाला था. सो दैट्स देयर. सो मतलब किसी के हाथ में कुछ नहीं है कि हाँ मैं 5 मिनट पहले बर्थ करवा लूँ तो मेरी कुंडली बहुत अच्छी हो जाएगी, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. अगर उसका होना है तो उसी टाइम पे बर्थ होगा, या तो किधर ट्रैफिक में अटक जाएगी, कुछ ना कुछ इशू हो जाएगा कि लेट होगा, अगर लेट होना है तो. सो इट्स नॉट कि नहीं ये परफेक्ट टाइम पे ये बर्थ करवा के ही होगा. अगर उसके होगा वो नए जो भी बेबी पैदा होने वाला है उसके अगर उसमें होगा उसके कर्म में तो ही विल गेट बर्थ. लाइक इट्स सेम विद द डेथ ना कि इट्स नॉट गारंटी कि सब लोग 100 साल जिएंगे. इवन इफ यू बी द मोस्ट फिट एंड द मोस्ट मतलब खुद का अच्छे से ध्यान रखो, बहुत अच्छे से रहो, फिर भी चांसेस है देयर माइट बी एन एक्सीडेंट, देयर माइट बी समथिंग एल्स. So it's not in our hands, all these things. So same way birth is not in our hands, even though people think that by like particular time पे ही पैदा करके we can change the destiny of a person, but it doesn't happen like that. Like karma theory doesn't work like that. If that was the case, then everyone would change their karma and become like happy, but that's not how it is. Because the पुरुषार्थ जो कहते हैं, जो विल पावर है वो अपने में ही चलता है. मतलब it's inside. It works when you want to achieve self-realization, when you want to destroy your anger, ego, attachment. So उस वक्त पुरुषार्थ चलता है, बट बाकी का जो आउटर एनवायरनमेंट जो बन रहा है वो सब कर्मों के हिसाब से बन रहा है. So that's the difference.
Sudesh is saying, hi Jay, how's renovation going on?
Oh, yeah. Almost done. Because of the lockdown, the people cannot come now, so that's a big problem.
Uh, Hi, Suresh. Thanks for
So
tuning in.
that's also a thing now. Now look at my thing. I'm an astrologer. I knew that bad things are going to happen this year because
Huh.
my Sarasati is going on, plus another bad dasha is going on, and it's a very bad time for Capricorns. So
Mhm.
what happened is my mom met an accident, then I had a huge loss in business, plus my best friends like friendship टूट गई हम लोग की, plus मेरे घर में आग लग गई. All this thing happened within 1 year. Plus this
Mhm.
lockdown and the entire scene is going on also. So it's there. It is going. If bad thing is going to happen, it will happen. You have to just be strong, willed. Mentally, you have to be strong and face your problems.
Hmm.
So that's the thing, and that's the reason spirituality helps a lot, because without spirituality, what is going to be? If a person is very attached to material things, he will just destroy himself during
Hmm.
such events. So it's very important to be spiritually uh, active.
Hmm. I agree with that because there are studies which have shown that people who have been spiritual, if there's some
Hmm.
disaster or trauma, they have some hope to go
Yeah,
on. But the ones who have not been spiritual, they've lost hope because they did
and
not
also
believe in anything
spirituality
anymore.
shows you the reality
Now,
of life. It shows
yeah,
you.
and they're realists.
Ki,
So when they see things
yeah.
happening in front of them, and they already think there's no higher power,
Hmm.
so then to them everything is destroyed. This is
एंड
according to the
इट्स अ
study.
वेरी सिंपल एग्जांपल. लाइक अभी जैसे लेट्स से किसी के घर पे आग लग, मतलब कोई इंसान है जो बाहर गया है, उसको कॉल आता है कि अरे आपके एरिया में आग लगी है. तो फर्स्ट
Hmm.
थिंग उसके माइंड में होगा कि मेरे घर पे तो आग नहीं लगी, तो ही विल आस्क. देन उसका समझो फॉर एग्जांपल उसका रूम नंबर होगा 7 और आग
Hmm.
लगी है 5 में,
Hmm.
लेकिन गलती से उसने 7 बोल दिया फोन पे, तो ही विल स्टार्ट कम्प्लीटली डर जाएगा वो कि अरे मेरे घर में आग लगी. विल स्टार्ट क्राइंग एंड ऑल. बाद में 5 मिनट बाद वापस फोन आएगा, अरे सॉरी वो 7 नंबर नहीं 5 नंबर में आग लगी थी. सो आग तो है, वो तो लगी हुई ही है, बट वो उसके घर में नहीं लगी है, तो यू विल बी लाइक ओके फाइन. मतलब
Hmm.
वैसा है. सो बिकॉज ऑफ आर अटैचमेंट टू दिस थिंग्स, दिस मटीरियल थिंग्स, जब उसका कुछ नहीं होता है, जैसे पैसे का लॉस हो जाता है, तो वी स्टार्ट
Hmm.
फीलिंग सैड बिकॉज वी आर सो अटैच टू इट.
Hmm.
So that's the reason. So attachment is the major problem with
Or
like suffering is because of attachment.
right.
So that's the main thing.
So does astrology help in not being that attached? Have you seen
So
this happen?
astrology can give you a view, but without philosophical idea,
Right.
it's difficult now, because astrology is a predictive science. It will give predictions that okay, uh, life में ये होगा ये होगा, मतलब वो सारी चीजें. शायद कोई किसी के इंसान किसी के उसमें लिखा होगा कि अरे जब आप 40-50 के हो जाओगे आप पॉलिटिक्स में जाओगे, तो ओके इट्स गोइंग टू हैपन. बट नाउ पॉलिटिक्स में जाके वो अच्छा काम करेगा, वो तो उसका खुद का कितना उसको आइडिया है, मतलब हाउ गुड इज अ पर्सन ही इज, उसके ऊपर से बेसिस. हाँ बट एस्ट्रोलॉजी में यू कैन नो पर्सनैलिटी ऑफ अ पर्सन ऑल थ्रू मून. लाइक अगर मून वीक होगा तो उसका माइंड वीक है, सो नाउ ही हैज टू फोकस ऑन द एरिया ऑफ माइंड को स्ट्रॉन्ग करो, मेडिटेशन करो, वो सब चीज़ें करो. सन वीक है तो ईगो का इश्यूज है उसको, तो ही हैज टू वर्क ऑन दैट. सो वैसे थोड़ा बहुत आइडिया आता है विच कैन
Hmm.
हेल्प अ पर्सन टू नो कि हाँ ये सारी मेरी प्रॉब्लम्स है, तो इसको मैं सोल्यूशन करने का ट्राई करूँ.
Hmm.
सो दैट्स द थिंग.
There are some faiths that say that we should not believe in astrology, you know, especially when it comes to marriage. जब कुंडली देखी जाती है, there are some faiths that actively say that we are not going to believe in astrology or even be
लाइक
related to it.
या एवरीवन हैज देयर ओन बिलीव्स, बट फ्रॉम व्हाट आई हैव चेक्ड, मोस्टली जो लोग शादी करते हैं, इवन दो लव मैरिज हो या अरेंज मैरिज हो, कुंडली मिलती है तब जाके शादी करते हैं. कुंडली नहीं मिलती उनका डिवोर्स हो जाता है. आई हैव सीन दैट. सो दैट्स व्हाट आई कैन से. 99% ऑफ द टाइम आई हैव सीन. देयर आर सम
Okay.
रेयर केसेस वेयर आई हैव सीन दैट ओके इट्स ओके फॉर देम. So yeah, but it's everyone's own belief, so we cannot like
Hmm.
it would be wrong if we judge or anything. So yeah.
Right. I appreciate that. Are there
Mhm.
any questions for Jenna? Jenna, what is Rahu?
Yeah, so Rahu is a planet of जैसे कलयुग का राजा उसे कहते हैं because it is a planet of illusion, it is a planet of ignorance, it is a planet of pleasure, it is a planet of gambling, it is a planet of entertainment, it is planet of uh, all this alcohol, not alcohol, but addictions and all these things.
Okay.
So Rahu is a planet of like all this, which spiritually we can say negative stuff,
Hmm.
and a very prominent Rahu can make a person be a gambler or
Hmm.
be a very good magician because it, illusion and all. So all this kind of thing. But yeah, राहु का जो महादशा होता है ना, और हाँ राहु इज chaos. So बहुत ही ups and downs लाइफ में आते हैं, वो सब चीजें बहुत होती है. So that's all generally like we can say what Rahu is. But एक कुंडली में राहु का prediction करना is very difficult. Like it's extremely difficult. Like there are some people who might have Rahu in certain house and like different things might happen, unusual things happen.
Hmm.
So वैसा है. अब जैसे किसी के राहु फोर्थ हाउस में, उनके घर के हाउस में, तो चांसेस है कि उनके घर में कुछ ना कुछ प्रॉब्लम होता रहेगा, और ऐसा अनयूजुअल प्रॉब्लम ना कि नॉट नॉर्मल प्रॉब्लम.
Hmm.
It depends on entire horoscope also, which planet is aspecting, which is conjunct and all those things. But yeah, so generally Rahu is a planet of chaos. वो इंसान को बहुत ऊपर लेके जा सकता है और बहुत नीचे गिरा भी सकता है. That's how volatile Rahu is.
Hmm.
So yeah, that is Rahu.
Because I've heard this term a lot.
Yeah, it's very popular. Whenever all this, like even the sign of Scorpio is very popular because जहाँ पे थोड़ा ऐसा chaos और negativity और ये सब involved होता है ना, वो सारी चीजें काफी famous हो जाती है. So that's the thing.
Hmm. And Jainam, yes, if someone wants to become a professional astrologer, so what are the career opportunities for people who are aspiring?
Like they can learn astrology, they can do some course or private tuitions or anything, and they can start predicting. But I would say truly a good astrologer is a person who knows psychology, like human
Hmm.
psychology के बारे में थोड़ा idea है, जिसको philosophy और spirituality के बारे में idea है, he can be a good astrologer because you are just an astrologer, you are just going to just predict कि हाँ आपकी शादी ये टाइम पे होगी, आपका करियर ये टाइम पे होगा, आपको प्रमोशन अभी मिलेगा, that's it. But really, if someone wants to help someone, so he needs to know about spirituality. He needs to know a little about human behavior, psychology, or ये सब चीजें. Because all these things combined help a lot. Because at the end of the day, you want to help a person.
Right.
So yeah,
A holistic approach.
yeah, that's much better now because you don't want to be an astrologer. You want to be a counselor. You want to like
Hmm.
do something good for others. And yeah, it can be a career option. People can earn out of it. That's not a problem. But still at least it can become a very noble profession because the thing is astrology काफी taboo वाला profession है. Like many people who say astrology, तो काफी लोग लगता है ये तो fraud है, ये तो scam है, ये सब चीज है.
Yeah.
So it can be changed if a person does a holistic approach
Hmm.
towards who has
Right.
like he has a holistic approach towards astrology. So it will help a lot compared to just giving random predictions and charging random money.
Uh, that's why I opened the session with this question because
Uh,
this is the whole thing, the taboo thing that revolves around
hmm.
astrology है ना लोग बोलते हैं ये fraud है astrologer
Yeah,
ये
and also thing is, मतलब people who don't read about it in detail, especially scriptures पढ़ो, जो main जो scriptures लिखे हुए हैं ancient gurus, ancient monks ने, वो पढ़ो
हाँ
because they have done their detailed research. We don't know anything, like we don't know
हाँ
much
हम्म
because our is like human race has declined, and
हाँ
the 1,000 years back, 1,500 years back, sitting in their caves meditating, and they got all this knowledge. And
हम्म
here we have so much technology and everything, yet we are nowhere near the knowledge that they had. So that's the thing. इसलिए scriptures पढ़ो, वैदिक कोई भी religion हो, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism. So but yeah, और हर एक में ये सारी चीजों के बारे में लिखा हुआ ही है, astrology and all these things.
हम्म। Is there any question for Janam?
Okay, it goes away the messages.
We need to scroll upper. I mean, we need to scroll downward so that it goes up.
Okay, okay.
Uh, Fahad Dilwala. Hi, Fahad. जन्म जाना
And
है
yeah,
तुम्हें?
नहीं नहीं, it's okay. ऐसे
Uh,
जनरली मेरा सोने का टाइम हो जाता है, but it's fine.
हाँ, ठीक है. We'll just for another 2 minutes.
Yeah, if there are
Just,
any
I know
question,
you
yeah, I
sleep
can
on
answer.
time. That's why.
Yeah, and if
Everybody
someone
थोड़ा
wants to know
very
anything, they
disciplined.
can just, yeah, but if anyone wants to know anything, they can just DM me or
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
Yes.
I'll try
Fahad,
my best to answer
Assalamu
anything.
alaikum.
Yeah.
So Fahad is saying, sir, what are your views on Islam?
It's a religion.
Hmm.
Because in philosophy, I have studied more Indian religions, so I cannot say much about the Western religions like Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Zoroastrianism. Like I have studied the basics, but I haven't gone in detail. Because
Hmm.
for me, it was the Advaita Vedanta. Initially, I started with Buddhism, and then I completely came into Jainism, and I also practice Jainism. So my
Hmm.
focus has completely been into this only. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Shall we wrap up the session, Jenna?
Yeah.
Yes. So, okay. Everybody, thank you for joining. Thank you for your questions. And
Yeah.
as Jenna said, if you have any queries, you can hit him up in his DM.
Yeah. And
Or
thank you for inviting me.
thank you for coming on this session
Yeah.
and sharing your views. Because I was very intrigued about astrology. It's
Hmm.
specifically because a lot of people do not take it very seriously. And
Or some
when
people
I
take
was in
it
my
really
early
seriously.
20s, and yes, the extremes on the
Yeah.
spectrum,
Both the things. Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely, which becomes very self-destructive, जैसे आपने बोला.
Yeah.
If they get
Unless, but
obsessed.
there are chances a person might become extremely good at astrology, like
हाँ,
really master who can just, there are people who can just, like I've heard stories who can just look at the face and predict it. Okay, इसका ये होने वाला है, ये होने वाला है.
wow.
So there are people like
Face
that.
reading?
Face reading, it's called as Samudrik Shastra.
Hmm.
And there's palmistry also. So I know a little
Wow.
palmistry and I know little vastu and astrology. But yeah, मैं खुद practice, मतलब मैं खुद मेरी कुंडली नहीं देखता हूँ बैठ के. So that's the thing. But yeah, I know all these things. I've researched on it. And especially when you are a young adult and you want to know, like you have a
Hmm.
very curious mind, so you research all this. But once we get older, like now I'm 27. So for me, I realized that okay, astrology and all these things are there, but more focus should be in spirituality, and that should be
Hmm.
the ultimate aim of life. So once
Hmm.
you get old, you start believing in like maturity might come. It's not necessary, but yeah,
Okay. So I'll just check one last time. Okay. There are no other questions. Okay. So
okay, yeah.
yes. Thank you, Janam, for joining. And
Thank you for
thank you
inviting me.
everybody
Yeah,
who's been here. And we'll do more sessions. We'll see you all again.
yeah. Bye.
Okay. Bye, Janam. Good night.